So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pitch Side Podcast channel. I'm your host, the HOD of the PSP, and we're coming to you after the round of fixtures in Serie A, of course, that took place today. 7 matches just ended on the 3 p.m. kickoff, of course. Before that, there was a lunchtime kickoff between Cagliari and Benevento that ended with the away team coming off with the victory 2-1. Of course, the biggest takeaway, of course, from these 7 matches is the loss of Inter Milan, who are losing ground to AC Milan at the top of the table, of course. I'm not going to say an unpredictable slip, but it looks like the kind of result that is not going to help Antonio Conte's case in winning the Serie A season. He's already under a lot of pressure since he left the Champions League, and it looks like he's going to be losing ground to AC Milan and giving them an opportunity to go 4 points ahead of him on the table. In other results, of course, before we get to Inter, Atalanta back and continuing the winning ways, of course, pretty convincingly 3-0 over Parma. Muriel, Zapata and Robin Gosens with the goals. 2-2 it ended between Bologna and Udinese. Crotone losing to Roma 3-1. Roma, of course, going ahead in the first half 3-0, and Mayoral double and Mkhitaryan from the spot, making it 3 at the first half, and Crotone, of course, scoring the consolation goal in the second half. Lazio coming off with a hard victory from Ennio Taldini in Florence against Fiorentina. Sassuolo back to the winning ways after the drubbing they got from Atalanta 5-1. They defeat Genoa 2-1, and in a surprising result, I would say, Torino managing a late equaliser against Hellas Verona to draw a point 1-1 in Turin. Talking about, of course, about the biggest takeaway, as I mentioned, is Inter's loss in these round of fixtures. This is bad. This is bad form for Antonio Conte, bad form for Inter, who are sort of favourites to win the Serie A title this season. They have been tipped by a lot as sort of big favourites, considering that they have no European football to look forward to. They had more possession, they had more domination in this game. They rested Lukaku in this game. They entered with Martinez and Sanchez, and then of course their mistakes in the back are really costly. A silly penalty, I would say, a very contentious penalty given to Sampdoria, and it was scored by their former boy. It was former Inter boys doing the damage for Inter. Candreva from the spot scoring the opener, and Keita Balde, believe it or not, adding the second goal for Sampdoria in the first half, ending the first half 2-1. In the second half, it was all Inter, but they couldn't manage anything on the net, despite Lukaku being introduced, despite Perisic being introduced. They only managed a consolation goal, halving the deficit by Stefan Tifrine from a set piece taken by Brozovic. What does that mean for the table? Of course, that means that Inter are now 36 points behind AC Milan, who still have the game against Juventus, which is going ahead despite the news and the rumours that the reports that AC Milan have 2 COVID cases. I reckon it's Rebic and I don't remember exactly the second player, but it's 2 players from AC Milan having COVID cases. So at the moment the game is going ahead as scheduled, but we don't know what was going to happen in the next couple of hours. Roma, of course, with the big victory, getting even closer, 3 points now behind Inter, 4 behind AC Milan. Of course, they'll be rubbing their hands for Juventus to defeat AC Milan, so they can have even less of a ground to cover and really and keep the difference of points as narrow as 4 points. Indeed, Sassuolo back to victories again, keeping themselves in the top 4 conversation. In Atalanta with important victories as well. Lazio really needed a win after a couple of bad results in the loss against Milan and the draw last time out against Bologna. I reckon now the Serie A race is going to be now wide open, I would say. I'm sorry, the draw against Genoa for Lazio, not Bologna. I would say, again, the biggest takeaway is Inter's loss, which is going to be very important, considering that AC Milan face Juventus. This is a good and interesting and very enticing sort of information. If you're AC Milan and Juventus actually heading into this game, this is going to be an even bigger of a gap. 4 points is a good lead for AC Milan to have if they manage to win against Juventus. And that's it. That's all for the recap, the quick recap, of course, of the 3 p.m. kickoff matches and the early kickoffs in Serie A. Of course, we're waiting and we're going ahead with the game against between AC Milan and Juventus. Hopefully, I'm going to be making a recap as well for that game later on. Like, share, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel. Most importantly, enable notifications. Follow us on social media at SerieA on Twitter at SerieA, on Instagram at PitchsidePod. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you can get it from. I was your boy, the HOD of the PSP, and until the next episode, goodbye.